Like my wife, you're probably wondering why I'm in the middle of the desert actually editing on my MacBook Pro. The thing is, this computer is super sweet and it will do anything you throw at it. Before we go into that, let's talk about a couple of the things that I found out during the 2 weeks that I've had this MacBook Pro. But first, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time back in 2019, I actually bought one of the new Mac Pros, and I was super excited about it because it was going to change my workflow. You can even tell by some of the videos that I made that I was super excited about this.
I'm so excited for this. This is a beautiful looking machine.
Unfortunately, once I got that Mac Pro, my workflow started changing. What I found out was that I was editing more on the road than I was at home. And so, sadly, I had to return that Mac Pro back to the Apple Store, in hopes of one day that Apple would come out with something that was both great in performance and also great in portability. Which leads us to the new MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro and the M1 Max chips. I personally went with the Max just because of the higher GPU count. While working with this machine for the past 2 weeks, I've noticed a lot of amazing things. The first one being the battery life. Coming from a 2016 MacBook Pro, yikes. Anything was better than that. It was amazing going from 3-4 hours to 10 hours minimum on heavy workflows. Absolutely game-changing for me. Alright, here I am editing this and I forgot to mention something. How cool is it that you can charge half the battery in just 30 minutes? It's fantastic for somebody like me because I can just stop at a restaurant, eat for an hour, and the battery is guaranteed to be at least half full. Pretty awesome. But back to this. And amazingly enough, with the higher battery and also the Max, I found the thermals to be extremely cool. Especially when I'm editing on the road, I don't like my laptop to get super hot and burn my legs. I found this to be kind of a common occurrence with my 2016 MacBook Pro, but it is a 2016 MacBook Pro, so I kind of, gotta give it some slack. The performance on this thing is absolutely amazing. It would handle anything I threw at it, from Logic, a huge session file with a bunch of virtual instruments, to Final Cut Pro with multiple streams of 4K video. Just handled it like a champ. And even gaming, I tried that out just for kicks and giggles, and it was actually a pretty fun experience. Of course, I was using Parallels. One of the other things that I absolutely loved was them bringing back not only the Magsafe, the SD card reader, and the HDMI port. And did I mention the Magsafe? Because I'm a huge fan of that. I'm especially happy about the SD card reader because I can just dump my footage on the computer and just start editing right away. They did keep the USB-C ports, which I am okay with. Coming from a 2016, I have a lot of dongles, so I didn't need to buy anything else again, thank goodness. But I did notice one problem. In my current workflow, I actually use external SSDs to edit off of. However, using those external drives over USB-C has actually had some issues. I've noticed it's had lower read and write rates compared to my 2016 MacBook Pro, which should not be happening. After some research, I found out there's a lot of other users with the M1 chips that are actually complaining about the same problem. So be wary if you are in that same situation. But actually, let me know below if you're in the same situation and you've actually noticed the same thing. That way I won't feel like I'm going crazy. I actually decided to return my MacBook Pro just because of the storage options, so I could edit straight off my computer instead of those SSDs. Despite the USB problems, it is still a fantastic computer to have. It's been an amazing 2 weeks to have with this MacBook Pro. Coming from that 2016, it has been game-changing for me. And to prove this to myself, I actually decided on one of my shoots out in the middle of nowhere to edit the DJI Air 2S video that's on my channel. Not only was I able to go through the entire process of dumping the footage, editing it, combing through it, color grading, exporting, all within the middle of nowhere, that is absolutely game-changing. With this kind of portability and performance all in one tiny package, it is absolutely game-changing for anyone who decides to use this. I highly recommend it to any creative professional or even a prosumer. You'll be surprised how much time this tool will actually save you in the creative process. I know it surprised me.